Hi everyone, it's Lynn from Mutiny Ranch. I'm in the kitchen today and I just wanted to I thought I'd do like a little series of videos. I wanted to show you how I first started off making sourdough. So the beauty of sourdough is you don't need any commercial yeast. So if you happen to not have any in your house, you could make bread anyway. Um, this is kind of a quick method. Normally, to make a sourdough starter, you would start off, of course, with flour and water, um, and you would continually feed that over the course of time. Could take several weeks or months to get a really nice, strong starter. And this is kind of a quick and easy way. In a couple of days, hopefully, maybe less than a week, fingers crossed, we'll have a starter that we can actually use to make our first loaf. I'll show you all the steps the whole way. So today we're going to start off with getting our water going. So in this process, we're actually going to use some fruit and ferment it in just water, and then we'll drain off the fruit that can go into your compost, or if you're like me and you have chickens, throw it out to your chickens. Um, and the strained off water that we fermented the fruit in is what we're going to use to kickstart our starter so that we can actually bake a loaf of bread quickly. So you'll need a jar. Any kind of jar will do. If you have an old spaghetti jar, that's fine. I happen to have a quart mason jar here with a lid. So don't panic if you don't have a perfect jar. If you just have old plastic, like a peanut butter jar, clean that out really well and use that. So the other thing that I wanted to do today in this demo is just show you that you can kind of use some food scraps. So of course, right now in some places it's really hard to get some foods, and the last thing you probably want to do is cut up fruit just to be discarded in a few days. So normally what I would do is something like take a couple of apples and chop them up, put the entire chopped up apple seed, stem, skin and all into the jar and start my ferment that way. But instead, since like I said, we may be looking at our fresh vegetables and fruits as a precious commodity these days. By the way, it's March 21st, 2020, and we're in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. So in the spirit of saving our food, what I'm going to do is just peel my apple, and I'm going to use the peel. So can still eat the apple, and then that way there's no food waste or very little food waste. Maybe you would peel your apple anyway, but you could do something with your apple. I'm also going to core the apple. Obviously, we're not going to eat the core, so no harm in taking the seeds and core out. And we'll use that in our water to ferment. Okay, so we're just going to take, of course, our cleaned off apple. Make sure you wash that apple first. We're going to put our apple peel and apple core in our jar. I also happen to have a couple of strawberries this morning, so I'm going to take the tops of the strawberries, and these were washed. I'm going to put those in my jar, and then believe it or not, you could also use a banana peel. So peel that banana if you have one. If not, use a couple more apple peels. Whole banana peel right inside that jar. And that's probably enough right there. Doesn't have to be a lot, but if you happen to just have frozen fruit, that would work. You could even just pop a couple in there. These are cherries, pie cherries, the sour cherries from our cherry tree from last year. And another kind of accelerant is raisins. So you could just pop in a couple if you have them. You don't need to, but if you have a couple, just 2 or 3 will do the job. Otherwise, just use what you have. If you have peaches, if you have apricots, cut them up or peel them, and just put your food scraps in there. If you have a couple of bananas instead of this other fruit, just use straight up banana peels. Then what we'll do is top this off, fill the jar with water. Not to the top, leave a little headspace. So mine's just coming up to the bottom rim. So I have about 1 inch of headspace. And then I'm going to put my lid on. And that's it. So lid tight, because every day or when you walk by, you want to shake this jar. And we'll come back and check on it tomorrow. And I'm just using tap water. If you have well water or filtered water, that's great. I have tap water. That's what's available to me. So this will ferment for a couple of days. Sorry, Happy came in and he's very thirsty. So, and it really does depend on the temperature of your house, how quickly this ferments. So since I'm trying to do this in just a few days, I'm going to try to put this somewhere warm. So it could be on top of a refrigerator. I'll probably put it where my seedlings are, and that rack is sitting over a heat vent. So it's kind of wrapped in some fabric so that it's like a little tent for my seedlings. So it's pretty warm inside there. You could put it in an oven with the light on. The only bad thing about that is if you forget and you preheat your oven to bake something, then you will have a mess or ruin your ferment. So if I stick it in the oven, what I do is pull the knob of the oven off and set it on the counter just so that I remember when I go to preheat the oven that something's in there that I need to take out. I've also used Christmas lights, so non-LED Christmas lights do give off some heat. You can wrap those around the jar. A seedling mat works, but not necessary. We just keep our house a little bit on the cool side, so it will take a lot longer for it to ferment. Otherwise, just leave it out on the counter whenever you walk by, give it a little shake. And hopefully in a couple of days, we'll start see some action where it's a little bit fizzy like a soda.